Hello YouTube friends, this is Annette. I have not been on in quite a long time. There's been a lot of things happening in my life, but I had a chance to record today, so I thought I would take you along making a pot of chili. It's going to be a meal to feed 8 to 12 people for around $10. I'm making mine in my Instant Pot. The ingredients I'm using are some navy beans that I have just cooked in the Instant Pot. You can use whatever beans you have. If I had to buy some, I'd buy a pound of dried pinto beans from Walmart. They're only $1. I'm using some onions, peppers, and celery that I've cut up. If I had to buy it, I would buy the seasoning blend in the frozen section at Walmart. I'm using some tomato paste that has a dent in it that needs to be used up, and I'm trying for the first time this chili starter, something I did buy specifically for this meal. I believe at my Walmart it's around 88 cents. I'm not 100% sure. I screenshotted all the ingredients, so I'll try and insert them in this video. I am using some chorizo crumbles because I got those at a discount store and they were in my freezer. If I did not have those, I would buy the tube of fresh chorizo at Walmart. It's just a little over $1. And I'm also trying for the first time this taco seasoned ground turkey. I've never had it before. It's in the freezer section at Walmart. It is around $2. I believe it's $1.97 where I live. I'm using a chili seasoning packet, which I also already had. If I did not have this chili seasoning packet, I would have bought the Walmart Great Value chili seasoning packet. And then on the side, there are these Pioneer corn muffin mixes. I have 2 of them. They were 2 for $1 at my discount store. I have a grocery outlet. That's where I buy a lot of my ingredients that I have in my house. But if I didn't have those, I would probably get the Martha White country cornbread at Walmart. It is a just add water mix. And I will leave all the ingredients in the description box for this recipe. I have already dirtied the Instant Pot right here by making my beans. So I'm actually going to make the rest of the meal in the Instant Pot. I'm going to saute up the turkey and add in the chorizo and then add in the vegetables and saute all of that first. I will bring you guys back and show you how that is going. I don't have a tripod anymore, so I can't set you guys up on a tripod. I have to hold the phone to record. So when I get it in the Instant Pot and it's sauteing, I'll show you guys. All right, I've got the turkey in there. It seems a lot darker than normal ground turkey, probably because of the taco seasonings. You can really smell them when you open up the package. I have it on saute. It's coming up to temperature right now. And like I said, I cooked the beans in here right before this, so that's why the pot looks dirty. Alright guys, you want to brown your ground turkey very well. Make sure there's a little bit of fond or stuck on stuff on the bottom. No moisture left. It smells really, really good. It looks dark like beef, but like I said, I think that's just from the seasonings. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my bag of chorizo crumbles and give those a few minutes to heat up and warm up through. They're already pre-cooked, so they don't really need to be cooked. And then I'm going to add my vegetables in to saute. I've added in the vegetables. I had some celery. I had 2 bell peppers, 1 red and 1 yellow. I had 1 Anaheim chili that I put in there and a medium yellow onion. Like I said, if I didn't have those ingredients already in my home, I would have bought the frozen seasoning blend at Walmart. I think it's a little over $1.50, and it has celery, parsley, onion, and bell pepper in it. So that is what I'm sauteing up right now. And then I'll bring you guys back when I add in the tomatoes and and then I will probably cook it on pressure for just about 5 minutes before adding the beans. I have added about 3.5 cups of water, about half of that can of tomato paste, and I'm also going to add in this can of the chili starter. I tasted a little bit of it. It tasted very good. It has some chili seasonings and crushed tomatoes and diced tomatoes. I'll probably put a little water in that can, get the rest of that out. And like I said, I'm going to get this all stirred around, make sure it's not too thick, and then I will put it on pressure for about 5 minutes just to make sure those vegetables are very tender. And I'll be back to add in the beans. All right, the pressure is coming up. It's sealed. It's just waiting to come up for pressure. I set it for 5 minutes. When that's done, I'm going to add these beans in and then probably put it on the saute mode for a little while just to incorporate everything. And then I'll probably leave it on keep warm because I'm having this for dinner tonight, but it's only about 3:30 right now. And then I'm having ours tonight actually with some baked potatoes. I love chili baked potatoes. It's one of my favorite ways to eat chili. If you wanted to do baked potatoes instead of the corn muffin mix, at Walmart the corn muffin mix would be $2.24, and for a 5-pound bag of russet potatoes in my area it's $2.94. So it'd be a lot of potatoes, much more than the 4 that I'm gonna cook today. And you would definitely still be able to feed 8 to 12 people. Your total would be a little closer to $11, but not much. And then I did want to go over some, oh, there goes the Instant Pot. I did want to go over some of the substitutions you could use. My beans were a pound of white navy beans. You can use any pound of beans that you want. It's equivalent to about 4 cans of beans. If you have dry red beans, pinto beans, black beans, navy beans like I did, any other kind of white bean. I probably wouldn't use chickpeas, but almost any other kind of bean would work, a combination. If you can't have cans already at home, you can use those. If you have different tomatoes than I had, you can use pretty much any combination of tomatoes you already have. If you home can tomatoes, you can use those. If you have fresh tomatoes, you could dice them up and use those. When I did the Walmart order, I did it with a can of tomato sauce instead of the tomato paste. I used about half a can of that tomato paste, but it's something that I needed to use up, so I used that instead of using tomato sauce. Definitely use the things you already have at home. If you stock anything at home, if you have ground beef already in the freezer or some other kind of ground meat that you want to use, you can put stew meat in chili. Chili is very, very versatile. If you don't have a chili seasoning packet, but you have ground chili and cumin and adobo or sazon or salt and pepper. I mean, you could add so many different seasonings in. You don't have to use a packet either. I tasted the broth part of the chili before I started the pressure. And between the chili ready tomatoes and the taco seasoned meat and the chorizo and that chili seasoning packet and all the vegetables, the Anaheim pepper, mine's got a little kick to it, not super spicy, but it has some spice. So if you don't like spice, definitely don't put any hot peppers in there. But if you do, add in a jalapeno or some cayenne pepper, whatever you have. And I didn't need any extra salt or anything in mine. But like I said, just use the things you already have at home. Chili is super versatile, and you can make it in many, many, many different ways. Sorry if you hear fan noise in the background. Here in Northwest Washington, we do not have any air conditioning, and it's starting to get a little toasty and steamy in here. This is what it looks like after coming down from pressure. It pressure cooked for 5 minutes, and then I ended up getting a phone call, so it natural released for about 20. And then I released the pressure the rest of the way. And this is what it looks like now. Everything is nice and incorporated and soft. The flavor is really, really good. When I put it in the pot, I added about 4 cups of water total because I did 3.5. And then I rinsed out the can a little bit with some water. If you're doing this in an Instant Pot, you need to make sure you have enough water that you won't get a burn notice. That's also why I wait till the end to add the cooked beans back in. I have tried to make this and use canned beans, which tend to be a little firmer, but I got a burn notice. So then I had to put it on slow cook for a while to get the vegetables soft. So if you want to put this up to pressure, make sure you have enough liquid, and I'd cook the beans separate from the chili. That's why I went ahead and cooked these beans up beforehand and then made the base of the chili. I'm going to add the beans in and saute it for a little while just to incorporate everything. And then after that, like I said, I'm going to put it on keep warm. When I serve it tonight, I'm going to use those baked potatoes, and I will use cheese and sour cream because we have it and I like that on my chili. If you didn't have that, you can get sour cream for about $2 and cheese for about $2. So you could get both, or if you already had them, if you wanted to do this for a big crowd, like game day, like you want to have people over for the football game, like I said, I would get that 5-pound bag of potatoes. I'd get some sour cream and some cheese, and for around $15, you could definitely have a crowd over at your house. I'd say it would easily feed 12 people. So if you're having a gathering or having people over for an event or a birthday, this could be a really good, inexpensive option for you. Beans are in. It's a little on the loose side, at least for my taste. It will probably thicken up a bit as I saute it. Some of the water will evaporate. Some of those beans will break down a little bit further. I like my beans nice and soft and broken down, especially in chili. If you didn't and you like your beans a little bit firmer but you wanted to thicken it up, you can use a little bit of cornmeal or even like a cornstarch slurry if that's what you had. And if I get a chance tonight when I have it plated up for dinner, I'll show it to you guys. If not, this is the final product. It smells amazing. And like I said, chili can be made with almost anything that you have in your home. If you don't like the vegetables I use, don't use them. If you do, go ahead and put them in. If you like to put different things in your chili, just go for it. But this is a simple thing to make, and it can feed a lot of people. Or you can do it as a meal prep. If you made this and you only have a few people to feed, it freezes really well. You can meal prep it for work for the week, either on top of potatoes or just by itself, and then just bring some toppings with you. It's great with chips. I love chili with corn chips or Fritos. Some people serve chili over rice, or they use like saltine crackers. I'm not a huge fan of that. Rice would probably be okay, but I'd rather have a baked potato or cornbread. So that's my $10 to feed 8 to 12 people. And I hope you guys like this video. And hopefully I'll be able to make more videos for you. I do want to make a video talking about what's happened in the last few years. And I just don't know what to put it over because I don't really show myself on these videos. So with that, I will talk to you guys later. Bye. There is my finished bowl all made up. Smashed up baked potato on the bottom, topped with the chili and some cheese and sour cream. At the last minute, I did add some corn that needed to be used up in the freezer to my chili, kind of a Tex-Mex type thing, but it's definitely not necessary. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and hopefully I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.